Hello, everyone. This is Brother Benson Media, and today is a Thursday, our live show, and we have our guest with us. May I take this opportunity to introduce or to give a chance to say one or two?
Thank you so much, Brother Benson, and thank you for inviting me back to the show. And I'm so happy to be here. My name is Faith Ken. Come from Kenya, Migori. I'm a history child advocate. Thank you.
Thank you so much also for always honoring our invite. Is usually quite an honor for you to always come on the show. Today we want to have a conversation of something that is it's a great issue that we have in Kenya. It did not start today, but it has been with us for the longest time, and this is gender violence, especially against women. And when you look at the nation right now, what is the state of the people, especially when it comes to gender violence?
Right now, actually, for the past 1 month, we've been really on femicide issue. It has gone above just GBV, but now femicide. Femicide is the killing of women because of their gender. We talk about killing is intentional killing, honor killing. So women are not safe, and women are not breathing, and women are, I can call it anxious, because the spaces that we used to know as our playgrounds right now are really tight spaces for us. So women are not safe in their houses. Women are not safe outside. Women are not safe in the streets, in the restaurants. We are not safe anywhere, because when we check out the statistics over the past 1 month, we've been having so many cases of domestic violence, that is the killings, the fights between the married people or people in relationships. So husbands killing women, killing their wives, boyfriends killing their girlfriends. So, yeah, gender based violence is on the rise, and I really think something should be done. But now the worst thing is that I think the government is not taking us seriously and is not taking the issues of women seriously. And most people are confusing feminism with the fight for women alone. But in real sense, feminism should, if we define feminism from its original meaning, this is the fight for human rights. And it's not always when you talk about the reason why we constantly talk about femicide, because for men, that is androcide. It's not something that normally happens. When it happens, it may be because of genocide or because of a coup.
Mhm.
That's when men can be killed because of their gender. But for women, it starts from patriarchy and women getting the voice that they never had. So that is why it starts from, but that is why I think femicide and GBV is on the rise. Because if you listen to the cases of domestic violence, you'll find that
Mhm.
most of the reasons the men give that she was a good woman before she got a job. Right now she's employed. She no longer does the things she used to do in this house. So it starts when a woman gains the voice she never had, just staying at home. And even if you see, right, the definition of women, we're being told the mother of nations, the mother of future, but no one defines a man as the father of future. So patriarchy really systems us to think that women are just for nurturing, for giving birth and all that. But now that we are starting to gain our voices and taking the spaces, women are seen in the top leadership positions, women are seen even in media. So that is where problem comes. And the society, specifically the other gender, they have refused to adapt to the fact that we are coming from that time where women used to just be women to a time where women are something more. Yeah.
Okay, now my first question to you, based on how you've explained and said that, do you think this is a men issue? Because like when we talk about gender violence, be it femicide, all kind of like the violence that women are facing or are undergoing through, it is usually like the women issue, but we forget about the men who are actually doing the act? Is it a men issue, or it should be now be a woman issue?
When we talk about gender-based violence meted against women, the
Hmm.
perpetrators, of course, are men. You see,
Yes.
and that is
Yeah.
why when we are
Mm-hmm.
addressing the issue, we are starting by calling out men. If you see the march that we held on 17th of on 27th of last month, the
Mm-hmm.
placards, most of them were reading, "Teach your sons to stop killing women." You see, so because
Okay.
the perpetrators are men, it starts with them. You see, so when you're talking about violence, it starts with men, and that is why we are not as advocates, when we are creating awareness, we constantly call men to stop killing women. But the same
Mm-hmm.
men are misinterpreting it that we are fighting gender. We are not fighting gender, but we are calling out perpetrators to stop doing the killing, but rather just protect us. And women don't even need protection, because just give us the space, the safe environment, and we will do our things. And then when you talk about men who are also assaulted, or men who also face GBV,
Mm-hmm.
we are not stopping anyone from advocating for their rights. You see, when you
Yeah.
talk about feminist, it cuts across. Personally, me, when it comes to domestic violence, I address it for all genders. But now, for men, I don't know why they fail to understand that on this issue of femicide and domestic violence, or gender based violence as a whole, we women, we chose to speak for ourselves, because if we don't, no one will. And men should also do the same. If you feel, because normally they don't understand the aspect that when we talk about men stop killing women, I've forgotten the term, the linguistic term used when you generalize the characters. But
Mm-hmm.
men think that they are also neglected. We have not neglected you. You can just start your own advocacy, create awareness on the challenges you're facing. But let me tell you, men hate themselves. Let us start from there. Because if right now you come out that you are raped, your
Uh,
fellow men will be the first to laugh at you. You see?
mhm,
But me
mhm.
as a woman, if I come out and tell my fellow women that I was raped, they will be shouting on the rooftops. You see? So that means
Yeah.
that men hate themselves. So if they can't advocate for themselves, we will go
Mhm.
on with our.
But like when we are in our society, and this is something I might be wrong on how, like even when sometimes men sit together and talk about and the issue of gender, we start by just calling gender. One thing that comes to our mind, it's just directed to women, whereby we always has this thinking like gender is woman, but not
Yeah.
as that's a gender as a man. So how can we reach a point whereby we can talk, and when we talk about gender, we look at both genders, not we just only don't look at women, because that is where our thought is usually that we talk about gender, and you find like men withdraws from the conversation. It's like, okay, when it comes to talk about gender, let women talk about it, as if gender is only for women. So do you see that is a problem in our society too?
It's not a problem, Benson, because when we talk about, we are not equal as genders, you see,
Yes.
we still
Mm,
haven't achieved equality. That's why when we talk about, when we mention gender, most of the times we talk about women, because you had the things you're fighting to get right now, you got
mm,
them on silver platter, you had them a long time ago, and it has been a fight for women to achieve some of the things that men has. Even right now, as a woman just climbing to the top, you're still being sexualized. Like, people think that you did something, they don't see it really like it's something done out of merit. So when the reason why it still has to be women issue is because we are still far from equality. You see,
mhm,
equity can be achievable right away, because I think our government has tried so far to achieve equity, but equality, we are still far from it. We are still far
mhm,
from it, because there are also double standards. That one we can't also ignore. There are also double standards, because when there is war, it's the men that are sent to war, women are back at home, you see. But
mhm,
gender, when we're talking about, we just have to mention women because it starts with them. They are the weaker people in the society, and I think women are also the bedroom of everything, because when it comes to nurturing, it's women. It comes to single motherhood, it's women. It's single parenting. It's the women that the statistics reads. We have so many single women than single fathers, so it still falls back to women.
Come to what happened last month about especially the lady, we call the Wahoo.
Yeah, Starlet Wahoo.
Uh, yeah, when that case came out and the second one also happened, there are two
Teresa Wine.
scenarios that, yeah, the two things that I witnessed. One, you find that with the Wahoo case, the person, the perpetrator, had already at some point did the same to some other women, or our sisters, or our sisters, yeah, but they did not come out to speak about it until now they were being interviewed, yeah, and that one
Yeah,
is kind of like not helping us now. How can the our sisters be in a way that if you experience something like that, you make it known within your circle, so that your friend, or your brother, I mean your sister, or another person might not experience the same, rather than keeping quiet until it happens? Because if they could have spoken earlier, yeah,
yeah.
this could have been known. So how do we deal with that? When we see something or when we experience something, we say it.
You see,
How can
one
that
thing
one?
when I
Mm,
can say is fault. Number one is the system, because if you report a perpetrator,
yeah.
what I'm losing that, is a perpetrator, yes. If you report someone and
Mm,
it's innocent until proven guilty, and
mm, mm,
justice system is the the most what is the most rotten system, because tell me at what point does innocence end? So you are a young girl in campus, then you report that you've been assaulted, or you've been, they normally ask for money, so that is theft,
mm,
you see, and you've been kidnapped. Who will believe you? You don't have the evidence at that moment. That is an a hearsay. You get me?
mhm,
Number two, this guy took a video of the lady, of naked photos, and took the photo of the contact of the parents. So you try to raise an alarm, and your parent sees your naked videos. Who would want that? No one. You see? Number three, the society. They are not welcoming when it comes to such cases. Tell me women who have reported to the society that my husband is an abuser, and they welcoming that moment, and they tell the woman just quit the marriage. Most of the time, you will be told that, what did you do? You see, they will ask, what did you do? So for the ladies, it is fear. The first thing, it is fear. Fear of judgment, fear of stigma, and also the trauma, because you report that you've been this and this happened to you, and the first thing people will be asking, what did you wear, why did you see him in public? So it's the society. We don't really take the problems as problems. We try to create stories around the problem. So what I can say, if such a thing happens to you, number one thing, it's always, if you know there's a video of you somewhere and that might be sent to your parents, you can report your parent first, so that they can be expecting that video, you see.
mhm,
You can report your parents first and tell your parents, this and this happened. I never expected it to happen that way. And he threatened me with such a video that if I raise an alarm, this video will be out. And then you can go to the social media, but you can't accuse someone without concrete evidence. They'll say that's a hearsay. You can tell your close friends, or you can seek for help from maybe safe houses. We have safe houses, we have safe spaces where you can really hide, and you can get help. You can also get what psychological help, like there's safe spaces you can share, you have people, you have a support system, so you can run to the safe space if you feel that your place is no longer safe because of speaking out. But always let people know that there's something, so that when that video leaks out, everybody was expecting it and there's no much damage. Because if you had trauma on top of online gender-based violence, it can
Mm.
lead to another thing.
I'm trying to think a reverse way about this, and tend to think like our society. The society is not with our women. You know, I might be wrong, but I was going into deep thought, and I say like this thing might be with our men, because the reason why I'm saying that, you find when an incident occurs, yeah,
Mm,
especially the person, the blame will always be the victim.
yeah.
And you will realize, and that one, even if you go to social media, when it happened to the young lady of KU, actually the first blame was the victim, but not the person who did the wrong. So you find in most cases, despite the fact that the women are the sufferers,
Mm,
but they get more blame than them, because this one can be depicted. I might have quote. I don't know. You saw what nominated member of parliament Sabina Chege said.
okay.
She said something that is not about matching, but it's about like talking to the lady ab- about everything. I might not quote the correct word, but I was coming and thinking, if you look at Rachel Shebesh, Shebesh was a very learned lady. Yeah. And remember what happened between Shebesh and Kidero. Yeah. Hello. You're getting me? If you look at, I'm just thinking on how
Yeah.
Sabina Chege might be thinking and saying like our
I
lady
can
should be
hear you.
taught,
I
and
don't know
how.
what is wrong with my video, but yeah.
Oh,
Hear
okay.
me.
Yeah. So if she was saying like that, and I'm coming and questioning, if it is about the lady even
Mm,
working hard and getting her own money,
yeah.
then Shebesh was a member of parliament, the women rep. Kidero,
Yeah.
Honorable Kidero, was a governor, but still Kidero had to slap Shebesh, despite the fact that she had money. That is one. There are some cases whereby the women, they are they are at the top, they have at the top of their careers, but in their household they still experience this. So you find like, despite the fact that they've achieved all that is required in the society, but they're still going through that. So
Yeah.
it's not like you have to teach them. That's why I was thinking. So I think like it is about the men issue, the kind of society that the kind of society that is bringing abusive men in the society. So I don't think, to more so it should be part of the men, even
Mm,
though it's also a women issue. But we should also focus on the men. What do you think?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know who is trying to call me. Sorry.
Uh,
Okay, so I was saying, actually, everything starts with men, and that is why I was telling you it's not like we are fighting men, it's not like we hate men, it's not like we don't want men in our society, but the problem starts with men. It's the men to
mm,
work on their mental issues, it's the men to work on their anger issues. Gone are the days when men used to be babied, you see? Gone are the
mm,
days when women used to carry the burdens of women. Like, my grandmother is expected to know when my grandfather is sick, is unwell, is stressed. You see, everyone right now is responsible for their own health. So it's high time men to check on themselves. Check on your mental health. If you're stressed, go fight, go play football, go to the
mm,
gym, work out. You see, do something that can distract you from doing that act. So it's upon men also. I think the term masculinity, I don't know where how they define it, but
mhm,
masculinity, it's not just hiding your fears or something. Men should also show vulnerability. You see, this thing of men wanting to be known as the heads of something or the leaders or something, leaders also break down. You see, leaders also cry. Leaders also reaches a point that they're also in the low moments that they need that support. So imagine we're in one house, me with my empowerment, you with your masculinity. What will happen? Let us just drop the tags and live like human beings. You see, human beings are emotional beings. We both have emotions. Stop trying to suppress your emotions because you're a man. You're trying to show how masculine you are. So
mm,
every man should just drop, everyone, the woman, the man, just drop down your tags, the tags you have,
mm,
and let just people live like human beings. Number two is also the social media. You see, when people are being during the Rita's case and Starlet, there are so many memes that were fueling this thing. There's so much violence online than even the physical violence, and the
mm,
violence online was about men fighting women. And I also saw a video of me somewhere when someone took a video from my Twitter space. And this video was going on Twitter, and I'm like, oh God, we are not trying to fight men. You see, they even called us old feminists who don't have husbands. You see, they called us, yeah, old feminists who don't have husbands. And
mm.
they're like, okay, right now, when Charles, the late, the
Mm.
actor,
Yes,
when the news broke that Charles died, you see, many people blaming she's called Shiro for
Shiro.
the
Yes.
death, yeah, for the death of Charles. That I saw a quote that being so awake to see women being killed, but not notifying your man has mental issues. The man was also in the march. The man was also advocating for women rights, but
Mm,
you see, it just happened. So there are some things that we can't really blame them on women. Now that this tells you that in our families, women are expected to carry the whole family. What are men doing? You see, what are men doing? So there's some issues that goes back. Anyone can be a killer, by the way.
mhm,
Anyone can change to be a killer. When you stop being human being and acting on your titles, you can be a killer. When you stop being a human being, then you become, I don't know what, you become the lead, the something in your house, you can be a killer. Because one characteristic of someone who always wants that tag to be known, I have to prove that I'm the man in this house. You see, you'll always be
mhm,
acting out of human self. You'll be trying now to apply force because I want my woman to know that I'm the man. You see, I want her to listen to me. And there's some people that just drop the tax and let us reason. I have a
mhm,
job. I'm going out. What is stability? Yo, you see, my job is not going fine. I'm making losses. How can we work on this? But you want to be the man. And then now you end up blowing your anger on me. And we start talking about, I saw the issue of morals also came in that women have become so immoral.
mm,
It's not about morality. It's not about the issue of women loving money. If we talk about money, even the men who killed those women, they were after money. See, because
mhm,
for
mhm,
Starlet, Machara requested 500,000 from Starlet's family before killing her. You see, and
mhm.
no, I might be sued, alleged.
Alleged. Yeah. It's
Alleged.
yeah.
Yeah. So, for the person who went with what Rita's head, we don't know what was his plans, but I think it's something behind money, wanting to sell or something. You see, so it's all about money. When we talk about prostitution, a man sleeping with a person, paying them to sleep with them, what do we call you? You also prostitute, right? So if the prostitutes are
Yes.
being killed, even you a man who you are supporting this business, you'll also be killed. So no one deserves to die, whether a prostitute or a normal life. And the worst thing is that even churches are quiet in this because these people who have been killed, they also have churches, and the clergymen, the church leaders, no one is speaking. I don't know if harlots, the way they call them, are not allowed in churches nowadays, but no one has spoken. Our first lady, the second lady, who is now the men's ambassador, hasn't said anything. We would only have one message to teach your men. even though you are trying to fight drug abuse, but teach your men the right things. Teach your men that it's not always about fight. Teach your men to watch their mental health, because everyone, no one was born a killer, but killers just come in. Yeah, so men should just stop killing women, and let us just drop the gender cards when it comes to houses, because even the houses are not safe for us. Houses are not safe for women, because you're staying with someone, you don't know this person, this is not someone you're born with, and then one time, you see. And for women, there are several women who get warnings from their men. Today a woman was calling me. She got my number when I was on TV, and she called me that the husband keeps on threatening her that wewe nitakukatakata ndogo ndogo na panga. You see?
Uh-huh.
And she tells me the husband even raped her, and you are married to this guy, and this guy keeps on threatening you that atakuchinja, and you're still there. You see? What makes you think he won't act? One time it will stop from being just words, and he will act, and he will chinja you. He will cut your legs, he will cut your arms, he will cut your body, and you will be dead. So it's the society. Yeah.
So is it now, is it societal problem or it is men problem?
It is societal problem. We start with society. Men, society are just people. Society are not buildings.
Mm-hmm.
Also the society, because a woman, the society will want to see you married, even if, you see. And
Mm-hmm.
tell me how single women are being tagged. Most of them are women without husbands, women who couldn't keep their marriages, women who are broken, you see. And even in social media, they're normally called bitter. If you do a post on something, and someone will say bitter single mothers are coming for you, you see. They're
Mm-hmm.
called bitter. So the society is not welcoming for people to show their vulnerability. If the marriage is not working, let me tell you, most people are being told to vumilia, but so many graves are full of people who are told to vumilia. You vumilia the first time, you vumilia the second time, the third time this person kills you and we bury you. The next time we tunakuja road trip kwenu na mashati and glasses and goggles, you see, and you're gone. So it's the societal problem. And society also, there's some okay, most of the times
Mm-hmm.
in the village. Right now, let me say you're married and you take your wife to the village and you're seen washing clothes. It will be blamed on your woman, even if you washed the clothes willingly. You see, they will say huyu bibi amekuroga, even if you
Amekaliwa.
did amekaliwa, even if you did it willingly. You just thought, oh, let me just wash my clothes because my wife maybe is doing something else. But utaambiwa, they will blame your wife. Actually, your sisters can even go behind your back to really to insult your wife for clearing their brother. So it's this the society. It's the society. We are trying to make a step forward, but society are still stuck in patriarchy. Even the men and the women giving men chances, because you talk
Mm.
today, you say this marriage is toxic, just get out of it, and this woman will still go back to this marriage and get killed, and people never learn because it keeps on repeating itself again. It's the system.
Mhm.
Tell me what happened to the families of those who the family of Starlet. What is their fate after all this social media, after all this publicity? You see, no one even thinks about them. The family of Sharon, how did that woman feel when she saw the person who killed her daughter being awarded a regional position? You see, how did she
Mhm.
feel? So it's also the system. I wish there could be a timeline for innocence. Cases like murder could have taken like 3 months so that we get done with them, because I don't understand why we still have murderers working with
Mhm.
us. We still have murderers working and living with us. This is a case that happened 7 years ago. It's still in court up to now, you see? So it's not safe, because they get bailed out and they come back and influence others to do the same act, because if so and so was not arrested but rather he was
Mhm.
awarded, why should I not do the same thing? Nothing will happen to me. You get me?
I get
So
him.
it's the system. It's the system, because I wish, if I if I was in a position to, I would
Mhm.
really wish that some cases like murder could have been given a different angle while solving them. Like 3 months is, even 3 months is a very long time to just talk about one case.
Mm. Okay, sorry, somebody's calling you maybe.
And now let me ask you, how many mataras are outside? Oh, you can hear me. I mean, at least.
Yeah, I can hear you. There are so many. There are so many of them, and that's why if this is a societal problem, and the awareness that you are raising from today, right now, it did not start today. It has been there for a long time.
And
Mm,
Benson, you
mhm,
see, also those who are advocating for women's rights, and
mm,
those are in these cases also. I can also say sometimes we act out of emotions,
mhm,
because when Sharon was killed, everyone was shouting, everyone was condemning the act. And then
mhm,
5 months later, everyone is silent. No one is following up on the case. You see, if it's not for Rita Waini's case, I'm sure Starlet's case will have died. Ingeisha,
mhm.
hakuna mtu angekumbuka. But until now, Rita's case came up again, and now people are still talking about it. So sometimes we are not really intentional about the awareness we are creating, because what do we intend to achieve in the long run? You see, what are the policies that we want to see that really covers women when it comes to GBV? What is the progress that we are making? So sometimes we just act in the moment that E may happen. So I think that is also something that takes us back.
And yeah, and that is where I was coming at, because you know when an incident happen, for a period, maybe one day, it will be something that of greater magnitude, and it will trend in all the social media, all that will come. Then after a day, it's gone, and we are not going to have such conversation until another incident happen. So that
Yeah.
that kind of like the breakdown that we have, because we start so good, we create that awareness, but immediately
Mhm.
we forget everything, we go and deal with another thing. And this is not only even with the majority, or the majority of people who are doing that, even with our leaders, because sometimes our leaders will take advantage of the situation. When it happens, they will be very, very
Mm.
vocal, but immediately it dies off. That's how
Mm.
they die. They die, they're not vocal about it. So this one also brings us about the leadership. What is the leadership saying about such like incidents that are happening?
I still really okay. When it comes to leadership, I'm so much disappointed in our women leaders. I'm very disappointed in them, because this thing happened and it lasted for like 2 weeks. No one was saying anything. No one was talking. And then on the day of the march, some of them showed up and marched. And after that, these are the people that should really represent us. These are the people that should, if we're talking about feminist, it should start with the women leaders. But now they're part-time feminists. They are seasonal feminists. You see, they'll show up when there's some credits that will be tagged along after showing up or something. So our women leaders have really disappointed us, and specifically the first and the second lady, because I don't think wameongea. I haven't seen anywhere Dorcas Rigathi ameongea ama Rachel Ruto. They're still quiet, you see.
Mhm.
And these are the women that represent us on the international level and the state capacity, you see, the first and the second lady, but they're still quiet. So it's for the it goes down back to the organizations, the NGOs around, the
Mhm.
NGOs dealing with women issues, the feminist, and the CBOs. Actually, the CBOs have done a lot, and we have over 1,000 right now that are looking into this femicide issue. But our women leaders are very quiet. They are quiet. No one is talking about anything. Like, our leaders are failing us. I really wish, because we have 47 women reps and none of them have said anything. Even if they spoke, that is nothing. That is like tweeting the normal tweets, that the normal meme that we see in social media daily. Yeah.
Okay, there are some of um, um, security measures that was supposed they were thinking to put in place. This is about like especially when it come to Airbnb spaces whereby they were saying like the CCTV cameras should be there. That is one. My question is, who is going to be in charge of the CCTV camera? Because if you go there, because everybody some at some point we cannot dictate on how somebody runs his
Yeah.
or her life, and you go somewhere, then this CCTV camera then again appears on the social media without laws that are governing it. How is that one going to be put in place? Because like our parents will not be happy. Let's say like your daughter has gone somewhere, the following day you see in social media CCTV camera, exposing your
Yeah.
daughter going there. How is that one going to curb what is happening?
I think when you talk about CCTV, what should happen is most of these places are not regulated. They're not registered. They're not licensed. I mean,
Yes.
so I think they should be registered under the hospitality and something
Yep.
ministry. Yeah. So when it comes to, we can't really, like, you're in a like an hotel, then there's a CCTV inside. That can't happen, you see. But if we regulate them, there's some areas that shouldn't have Airbnbs, like,
Yeah.
yeah, areas, there's some areas that, as if I tell me like
Mm.
huko Kayole and CCTV, you see, it will
Hmm.
be so hard to trace a person if that person goes there. So there should be places that should have CCTV, there should have Airbnbs, and they should be registered that actually, if Ruto want taxes or something, if he's working on creating system to get more taxes, he should put that same energy to work on systems that govern the Airbnbs and hotels, you see, so
Hmm.
that mtu akienda Airbnb at least kuna jina yake iko mahali and contacts. But you see what happens nowadays, there are no contacts, there are no names, ni mtu tu umepata namba online, umepiga simu, hey, nyumba iko free, can I get a house? Yes, it's how much? 4,000. Okay, key iko hapa, enda uchukue, you see.
Yeah.
So there's nothing much kufuatiliwa, but if you can have rules that contact, even tafuta IDs, uchukue ID za watu, pige picha, something like that. So there should just be, CCTV alone is not enough. CCTV zinaweza wekwa nje, but at least we should have the rules za CCTV za Airbnbs. It should go back to the origin when Airbnbs came. It was for hosting what? People who wanted to have maybe like a home experience or something, you see?
Hmm.
But now they turned into lodgings. So I think it should go back to its main purpose with the regulations.
Okay, there's also another issue here. This is kind of like very personal, especially for we are looking at the women. You find like when you are engaging in this kind of you know act, you find like sometimes they tend to be very secret. You do not want even somebody to know where you are. Do you think it is high time that you should have your system whereby you'll have to update somebody that you trust, like, okay, this is where I'm going, just to let you know, rather than being secretive about it?
I think most of the ladies have that system. I don't know just to what, when you come to murder cases, you can't really tell. Things do go wrong, you see. Maybe
Hmm.
just one time that you forgot to share, this
Hmm.
happened, or maybe one time that you shared and another person was not online, then it happened. But I think right now kwenye imefika, when you're going somewhere, we are kama ni Uber, because even the Bolts, they are heading to share the ride, share the driver's contact. When you're going to meet someone, share their contact, share their name, like all the details that zinafaa zijulikane, just share them with your friend. You see, someone you can really trust. And if in case something happens, you can really, we can trace you, you see. Tell a friend, I'm going to stay here for maybe 3 hours or 4 hours, so that when it is the sixth hour and we haven't seen you, at least we can call, where are you, you see, where are you
Yeah.
still doing,
Hmm.
is everything okay? So yeah, we should normalize it, sharing our whereabouts and telling people those we meet, because everyone is a stranger. Okay, that goes back to another point.
Mm.
Treat everyone as a stranger. You see? Treat everyone as a stranger. You're going to meet a stranger, share their details to your friend, share even the location of the place you're going to, and yeah, it should be that way.
Okay, we are almost winding up. So, what is the way forward after the match? Is there something that you are doing to pursue or to bring some legislation through the members of parliament, or crafting some writings to be
Petition.
tabled to parliament, petitions or anything?
We've done all that. We have
Hmm.
gone to office of the women rep, office of the governor, the county assembly. We have Kindiki's office. We have taken petitions to them, and on the day that the parliament will resume, that is on 13th, we are
Hmm.
having again a fellowship, something like that, a gathering.
Hmm.
We are calling it Dark Valentine. The purpose
Okay.
of the Dark Valentine is to follow up and to put more pressure on Parliament, because this is when they have opened. We want our petitions to be among the first ones to be read in the opening of the Parliament.
Mm.
So Dark Valentine will be on 13th, and on 14th, now on Valentine's Day. On 14th, we're yet to share the venue and the things needed, but we'll be there. So something has been done. We are still working. We are working on that. We've drafted petitions. We've taken to them. We've taken to clerks, and they've signed them. So it's just putting more pressure so that it's on them now to act on them.
Okay, thank you. What about some? What about in the villages or in the remote areas whereby we have this happening? Because there was a time I saw on a social media a young guy was just beating that lady, but it was a celebration. Nobody would come in to say, okay, what you're doing is not right. Um, have you had like campaigns and awareness in remote areas, because there is where they definitely happen the most that we don't see?
The march was held nationwide,
Hmm.
but in towns. And for the villages, let me tell you the challenge we have is when you start doing something about women in the villages, those women, they'll be the first people to chase you. There's a time I was talking about family planning in Kilifi. This is a place where one woman has 16 kids, has 18 kids. You see? And there's another one in the stomach, but they don't even have a house. If you talk about family, the first question I was asked, do you have a husband? Number two, how many children do you have? So you, a woman who doesn't have a husband, how comes you're talking to us about family issues? What do you know? You see, a good example is Korea. You talk about FGM in Korea, they will
Hmm.
listen. The same women that will want their daughters to be like them. You see, they will want their kids to be like them. I met a woman who was telling me alifanyia mtoto wake FGM in Nairobi. She took the daughter. This is a woman staying in Nairobi, meaning she has some little civilization. Just a,
Hmm.
she took the child to a hospital, a Katwe. You see, so it's the women. It's the women that we are trying. The leaders are trying actually, but the society is also adamant. Most of these women, they're so adamant to change, and there are also some things that keeps on repeating themselves, because you are told, like that woman, you will find even the women were cheering up, and that is fear instilled in them. I have also an aunt who is married in Korea, and they're telling me hapo ukijaribu kujibu bwana yako ndoa
Hmm.
yako imeisha. You see, and it's not your husband that will chase you, it's your fellow women for respecting a man. You see, they will chase you. So it for disrespecting a man, it's the fellow women that watakuja kutoe wewe, unaribu unatuharibia wewe, enda. You see,
Mm.
so I think there's some things that it starts from it's our job is just to create awareness, just tell you the rights you have. Yeah, the rights you have as a woman, that you can really speak for yourselves. You can have you can be in charge of your body, of what you take in. You see, so it's just what we can do as per now. It's just awareness. And
Mhm.
it's for them to take what they can take from the awareness that we're doing.
Okay, thank you so much. And I hope and I believe that at some point the society will um, bring some changes on how we deal with our women and sisters, if I may
Yeah,
say, and and our leaders too, because like this is as I said earlier, this is not a, an individual problem. This is a societal, and which means like we have to tackle it. We have to tackle it as a society, and the conversation also should be between a man and a woman. And
yeah,
something that I'm still insisting, and I'm telling you, when we talk about gender, the majority of the society, even including women, they always think one side.
yeah,
It's only like when we talk about gender, somebody will tell you this is a woman talk that I don't need to participate in as a man. Yeah. So it is a problem also with the society. So it's something that we have to know. It is something that is affecting the men,
mm,
sometimes by them being the perpetrators, and it's also affecting women by them being the victim. Yeah.
victims.
Because another issue is always the
Mm,
blame. The blame will always go to the women. And if they go to the
yeah,
women, it will be cultural. And situation like what kind of dress were you wearing that day? Why were you drinking in a pool of men? They don't question why did the man has to do that. So
yeah,
it's something that we should continue talking about so that we can have a level society whereby everything is okay. Because if it happens to you, sometimes you're my sister, how will I feel? you know
yeah,
Sometimes we might be talking negatively towards the women just because it does not happen into your family member. It does not happen. But if it come right at your door, you can feel that pain. So maybe your
exactly.
last remark to our viewers before we end the show.
Mine is to people watching and those who will watch after this, because I know there's a recording, is the first step is check on your mental health, because hizi vitu zote zinaendanga tu na mental health. You see, check on your mental health, and then just drop the tags and be human. There is no there is no enmity in being a woman. There is no bad thing in being a woman and being human, so just be human. Always you can show your vulnerability. When you're not well, speak up, whether man or woman. You can always cry, it's allowed. You see, you can
Mhm.
always show you're weak. You can always show that you're weak. There is no reward for being strong, for being masculine, for being toxic. You see, just be human. Just be human. And ask yourself, can you be a killer? Can you kill someone? And what can lead to you killing someone? Because no one was born a killer, but at some point they changed and became killers. So ask yourself, can I really become a killer? Can I kill someone? You see? And how does it step? And try to change your ways if you've really checked on yourself and realized maybe it can happen. And if it's drugs that is leading to that, just drop it. Number three, to women always, it's not safe right now for us. Let us just be careful. Let us be careful and treat everyone as a stranger. You see, for that way, it will be safe for you. Treat everyone as a stranger, and don't go to private places with these strangers. Treat men as strangers. Actually, let me just use the right term. Treat men as strangers. You see? So share your location and always don't be lured with I don't know anything, because a stranger is a stranger. If you're going somewhere, so if you see a man, whether ni mse wa uba, mse wa nini, that is a stranger. You see, always keep safe, and just know you have yourself, because as a woman you are the victim, and if something happens to you, it won't go. Nobody will ask first about the man. They will ask, mbona ulienda huko, mbona hukukaa
Mhm.
shule, mbona hukufanya nini. You see, so we are the victim here. Just take care of yourselves. And for the women in with abusive partners, this person will kill you one day. This person will disappear with your head and legs, and you won't see again, and you will cease to exist. You see? So huyo mtu anakwambia atakuchinja siku moja, atakuchinja, atakudunga na kukatekate. unaona.
Mm.
This boyfriend mwenye anakwambia, mwenye unaona anakasirikanga siku moja, by the way, I've dumped a man because of shouting at the next driver tukiwa kwa traffic. Because if you can shout to strangers and it's the same traffic, he's also stuck in that traffic the same way we are also stuck here, and you're shouting at him, you see, and he's shouting anapiga mpaka the steering, unaona huu mbona asongi. This man will also shout at me and he will piga my head one time, you see. So it's always the small things. How people behave in public, how people behave when you are alone, you see, those skin things, these are my red flags. Tuache kuziona kama roses, they are red, they're not pink, you see. If it's red tunasimingi these are roses, no, it's a flag, it's not a rose. So one time huyu mtu atakupasua kichwa, just take care of yourself. Any sign you see, the next time mtu anakupoint na toothpick, ondoka, unaona. Siku ingine atachukua jembe na atakukata nayo miguu, unaona. Yeah, so that's it.
Okay, asante sana kwa muda wako, and we are praying so hard and we pray for you, because what you're doing, on the awareness that you're doing, is a great job. At least we can have a good society. If you have anything in the near future, just don't forget to share with us, so that we can continue learning, because learning is a process. So, with those few remarks, may I take this opportunity to thank the following: Victor Oteng, Judith, Nancy, Governor Mtetezi, Kevin Obura, Tilen. Thank you so much for joining us on the show, and we will be seeing you here next week, same time, same place. Thank you so much, Faith. Once again, thank you so much for taking your time to have a conversation with us.
Welcome.